Unfiction web series have taken the internet by storm ever since the creation of YouTube. These narratives, told as if they belong within our reality, captured the attention of readers and horror enthusiasts time and time again. Stories big and small began to fill the corners of 4chan, Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and even some television channels. Some may even say the market is becoming oversaturated with these kinds of stories, while others can't seem to get enough of these unique and independent series. The Unfiction Iceberg, created and posted by user Jimbo Seth in the r/Iceberg Charts subreddit, aims to capture a wide range of unfiction, ARG, analog horror, and narrative stories within the iceberg. Containing 101 entries, Jimbo Seth includes a variety of unfiction narratives ranging from the most common down to the most obscure and little known. Along with the series, Jimbo Seth also provides a legend to make sense of the letter and color designations. Green originates from 4chan, red from YouTube, white from Adult Swim, purple from home media releases or real-life interactive works, teal from TikTok, blue for Twitter, cobalt for Facebook, orange for Reddit, and gray for Tumblr. The series are marked as F for finished, O for ongoing, and C for cancelled. Given that the iceberg was created during the summer of 2022, I will be making updates as the unfiction community is constantly evolving and shifting. Pay attention to the top right-hand corner of the screen as new unfiction series are listed. I'll be providing links to analysis explanation videos if you're interested in learning more. And of course, this is your spoiler warning, as much of the content discussed may reveal key plot points or information regarding the series. Now, grab a snack, turn off the lights, and settle in. Let's dive into the dark depths of the Unfiction Iceberg. Tier 1 of the Unfiction Iceberg contains incredibly popular and cult classic entries, ones that are popular enough that most internet users have heard of at least a few. These series typically gain a massive following and remain in the limelight for far longer than the typical web horror series, as well as gaining a cult following after their completion. Been Drowned, a cult classic creepypasta and alternate reality game, rose to prominence in 2010 through a combination of 4chan and creepypasta wiki updates, and an active YouTube channel posting a mixture of literary and video works to accompany the unfolding narrative. Created by Alexander D. Hall, better known by his online alias of Jaducible, began spinning the three-part tale shortly after the creation of Marble Hornets and the popularization of the Slenderman web series format. During its initial run, Been Drowned gained media attention from publications such as Kotaku, Vice, Bloody Disgusting, and many more, which helped to propel the web series from a simple piece of internet horror media to a national sensation during the high points of the creepypasta boom. The story itself follows a fictional version of Jaducible as he unwittingly purchases a haunted copy of Majora's Mask from the Nintendo 64. This ghost, simply known as Ben, distorts and corrupts the game world, leading to Jaducible posting online updates for all to see. As the series itself progresses, Jaducible begins to learn more about this ghost haunting the copy of The Legend of Zelda, and with the poltergeist-like activity slowly seeping from the game and into the real world and plaguing the protagonist's waking life. The original run of Been Drowned lasted from 2010 to 2012, with 2 additional parts, named Moon Children and Awakening, posted in 2020 and 2022 respectively. This series itself deviates from the original premise, but old and new characters make appearances as the narrative goes on. Been Drowned is often given credit for giving rise to many haunted video game tropes that later began to oversaturate the video game horror story market. Tropes such as the game being haunted by a ghost, obtaining a haunted copy or cursed copy of a game through a garage sale or thrift store, the video game distorting and corrupting, and utilizing a mixture of literary and video works to accompany this story. By the creation of this video, it seems as though the Been Drowned web series has come to a conclusion. However, given the spaces between each subsequent story and update, I wouldn't be surprised if a part 4 hits data streams in years to come. Local 58, a cult classic analog horror web series created by Candle Cove writer Chris Straub, rose to prominence in 2017 and 2018. The horror series helped to cultivate the analog horror unfiction subgenre, utilizing film distortions and VHS effects to achieve a retro and archival stylization for each entry. Many consider Local 58 the modern godfather of the analog horror subgenre, with many web series taking inspiration and cues from Straub's work. These tropes have become so prevalent that some series can be seen as copycats, cashing in on the trend. Local 58 is presented in an anthology format, Each subsequent entry tells a new tale in a new time period with oftentimes different themes, effects, and goals. However, overarching motifs such as the moon and the presence of an organization known as the Thought Research Initiative, or the TRI, tie the stories together. The series also takes place within the same fictional universe as Straub's previous work, Candle Cove, with the CLV in the channel's call sign, WCLV-TV, referencing the fictional location. Local 58 itself is presented as home video snippets of ominous, surreal, and horrifying broadcasts taking place over decades on the WCLV television channel. While all entries are considered masterpieces in their own right, some have gained more attention than others. Entries such as Weather Service, which details an emergency alert broadcast in the local 58 area, introduces the viewer to a cosmic entity in the form of our own moon, inducing a horrifying trance-like state in all who view it. The episode popularized the emergency alert analog subgenre, considered among the first to truly utilize and popularize the format. This series is still ongoing, with the latest entry being uploaded in early 2022. A companion website called Local58.tv contains Easter eggs, additional information, and storyline extensions that transform the Unfiction series into an alternate reality game of sorts. Local 58 has been listed as inspiration for many other popular analog horror works, including Channel 7, Analog Archives, Eventide Media Center, Gemini Home Entertainment, and many, many more. While other analog horror works have existed prior to Local 58 rising to the public's perception, it remains one of the most popular and definitive work within the subgenre.
You have arrived.
Sometimes I wish I could just make myself disappear.
Maria Rose Pereira, better known by her professional name Poppy, is an American singer, songwriter, YouTuber, and internet personality. As of 2022, Poppy has released 4 albums, with the latest being the critically acclaimed Flux. In 2014, Poppy gained her viral fame through the posting of a series of performance art videos to YouTube. These videos, often featuring an android, uncanny valley-like effects, and overall surreal content, helped propel the burgeoning star into the limelight. The series itself commented on internet culture, influencers and internet personalities, and satirized popular trends and individuals. At the time, viewers and YouTubers alike were unsure of what to make of the strange series of videos, believing Poppy to be the next big ARG or Unfiction series. With the high production value, the professional quality, and interesting concepts, Poppy truly seemed to be the mystery everyone wanted to solve. However, as time progressed, people began to realize that the performance art videos were more of a publicity stunt, as Poppy began to release original songs in 2016. Despite the success of Poppy's music career, the interest in the Unfiction ARG series never waned. In 2018, Poppy, along with writer-director Titanic Sinclair, created a pilot for a proposed Poppy web series. The series would have utilized the same uncanny and surreal themes and motifs present in the original Poppy videos, including the social commentary and the android. The 23-minute pilot aired on YouTube Premium, known then as YouTube Red, and aired to overall mixed reviews. Daniel Feinberg of The Hollywood Reporter considered the pilot's episode bizarre, distinctive, and it made me giggle maniacally, but notably couldn't see the series holding up for another episode, much less a series. In early 2018, both Poppy and Sinclair had a lawsuit filed against them by another musician known as Mars Argo. Argo claimed that Poppy and Sinclair copied her online identity and methods for advertising music through surreal content. To further her argument, Argo and Sinclair had previously been in a 5-year relationship and together produced 92 similar videos to that of Poppy and Sinclair's media performances. Nearly a year later, in early 2019, the pair would settle the lawsuit with Argo, and the overall drama surrounding the supposed plagiarized material died down. However, due to the critical response of the failed Poppy YouTube Red series, creative differences, the previous lawsuit, and Poppy's own musical career, Poppy and Sinclair parted ways on the Poppy project in 2019. Along with the departure, rumors began to circulate about Sinclair's behavior towards Poppy and others, with an article published by the New Musical Express detailing Sinclair's abusive and manipulative behavior. Despite all of this, Poppy still produces strange and surreal videos on her YouTube channel for the purposes of content creation, as music videos, and as methods of advertising her music and brand, though her original surreal video run has long since finished. By 2022, Poppy's influence and mark on the community has waned in the presence of more contemporary and popular works. Though, Poppy still maintains her status through her surreal and satirical videos, and her high production value.
Poppy, our morning star, O Poppy, our morning star, splendor of light eternal, shining with the glory of the rainbow, come and waken us from the grayness of our apathy, and renew in us your gift of hope. Amen.
Petscop is a horror web series that approached the video game subgenre with a fresh and unique take. Created by Tony Domenico, the 24-episode narrative that ran from March 12, 2017 to September 2, 2019, tackled the fictional game of Petscop and the experiences of the character Paul as he plays through the game. For a time during its run, the online community was unsure of whether or not Petscop was indeed a work of fiction or an actual account of a long-lost PlayStation game. Stylized in a Let's Play format, Petscop introduces the audience to the character of Paul as he receives and plays a copy of the unreleased Garalina game, Petscop.
That's a dead kid.
This unreleased title, originally planned for a PlayStation 1 release, never saw the light of day until this video series. Paul plays as the character known as Guardian, as they capture strange creatures referred to as pets by solving puzzles throughout the overworld. However, as the series progresses and Paul enters in certain codes, the game becomes more surreal. Strange dimensions and areas, known as a Newmaker Plane, begin to reveal an overarching plot involving references to supposed real-world events, child abductions, and rebirthing. Blurring the lines of fiction and reality, Domenico weaves together an interesting tale that focuses less on pure horror and more on the surreal aspects that the game and series provides. The series' popularity was also bolstered by media coverage through news media sources such as The New Yorker and Kotaku, and through other YouTubers such as The Game Theorists, Pyrocynical, Nightmare Masterclass, and lately Sagan Hawks. Other popular horror series, such as Marble Hornets and Been Drowned, were points of inspiration for Domenico, with similar themes and aesthetics being borrowed. The 2016 experimental film, Inland Empire, also served as inspiration for Domenico as he formed the basis for the series. As of today, the series has come to a definitive conclusion, with no signs of a revival or sequel series in the works. And while Domenico doesn't appear to be planning any new series at the moment, that doesn't mean there isn't something new on the horizon.
Fuck.
Alex? Alex?
Widely considered to be the launching point of the Slenderman mythos, Marble Hornets established itself as one of the earlier popular horror web series, and the first web series to feature the Slenderman character in one iteration or another. Marble Hornets, created and written by and also starring Troy Wagner, began on June 20th, 2009 on the YouTube channel of the same name. The pilot aired only 10 days after Eric Knudsen posted the first images of Slenderman to the Something Awful forums. Spanning over 92 videos, feature-length films, and spin-offs, the story of the Marble Hornets web series predominantly follows Jay Merrick. Jay attempts to find out what happened to his friend Alex Crayley after his sudden disappearance following the abrupt cancellation of a student film project. All Jay has left are the tapes Alex left him, and with these tapes, attempts to piece together a cohesive story that explains why Alex suddenly left, and reveals the identity of the strange, faceless tall man lurking in the background of many of the tapes. This so-called operator begins to haunt Jay and those he comes into contact with, sending him spiraling down a surreal rabbit hole with no chance of escaping. Towards the end of its run, the Slenderman had become an oversaturated market, with several other Slenderman web series, video games, and literary works filling the corners of the internet. This, along with the infamous Slenderman stabbing occurring earlier in the year, resulted in the original run of the series coming to a rather abrupt end. In 2015, a spin-off film entitled Always Watching, a Marble Hornet story, was released. However, the film itself did not follow any of the original characters. Critical response was overwhelmingly negative, considering the film distinctly inferior to the web series, boring and ponderous, and all around a letdown. A follow-up series entitled Clear Lakes 44 began uploading in August of 2015, though ended after the creative team disbanded. However, a soft reboot/sequel to Clear Lakes entitled Ekva is currently ongoing and expands the Marble Hornets universe. Despite the waning interest in Slenderman, encapsulated by the failed Slenderman feature film produced by Sony, Marble Hornets is often looked upon favorably and remembered fondly by those around during its initial run. The Backrooms is less a singular Unfiction series, but a creepypasta concept and community art project that rose to prominence in May of 2019. The Backrooms, as an urban legend in creepypasta, originated on 4chan with the iconic initial post. The creepypasta is difficult to succinctly explain, especially given its ever-expanding lore, Creative Commons license, and the different interpretations of what exactly the Backrooms are. To put it simply, the Backrooms is a dimension that exists outside of our own, one that you can enter into by no-clipping into an object and falling into this liminal reality. Made up of endless carpet flooring, maddening fluorescent buzzing, and sickly yellow wallpaper, this alternate plane houses horrifying monstrosities and few chances for escape. Some iterations have introduced different levels of the Backrooms, certain creatures that roam the endless maze, different dangers and psychological impacts the space has on an individual, different methods for escape, and different lores that are oftentimes referenced in other community creations. Kane Parsons' The Backrooms gained popularity in the last year, revitalizing the diminishing interest in the concept. Bringing to the table outstanding visual effects, Parsons' series introduced many more people to the concept of the Backrooms, the endless halls, and the monsters that roam within. The organization featured in the series, Async, has been often co-opted by the community as an official organization within numerous backroom lores. However, other creators of note, such as Evan Royalty, DinnerBones777, and many more have heavily contributed to the thriving artistic community present on YouTube, Reddit, and even TikTok. While I'd love to dive more into the Backrooms, I need more time than this video provides. If you're wanting to learn more, check out my video in the Backrooms entitled The Backrooms in Liminal Spaces.
Hi guys, it's Daisy Brown. I'm just talking to the camera, and I'm gonna show you guys how I feed Alan.
Daisy Brown, commonly considered an alternate reality game, is a horror web series following the titular character as she cares for a growing monster named Alan. The ARG began posting in July of 2017 and ran until August of 2018. The series gained widespread attention, with the first video, How I Feed Alan, amassing over 3 million views as of the creation of this video. Daisy also has a Twitter account that is needed in order to fully understand the events unfolding within the series. As the narrative rolls on, however, Alan grows larger and more abusive towards Daisy. The abuse grows and grows, culminating in one final confrontation between Daisy and Alan in the final entry. The series focuses on the central theme of domestic abuse, with Alan's growth as a monster a metaphor for growing abuse within relationships, as well as how negative emotions can grow within a person and consume them whole. Daisy Brown is also known for hiding messages, Easter eggs, and other information within the closed captions of the videos, adding another layer to those attempting to decode the messages and content of the series. Jules Dapper, the creator of Daisy Brown, wanted to create a series after pulling inspiration from other popular web series, such as alantutorials, EverymanHYBRID, and many others. Dapper pulled from her own struggles and painful emotions to draft the story of Daisy Brown, and later began to put together a live-action story. According to Dapper, there are currently no plans for continuation to Daisy Brown. For Jules, the story has ended, and there is no other story to tell for Daisy, but did not completely rule out the possibility for a future installment, should a good enough idea come about. Perplex City was a real-life alternate reality treasure hunting puzzle game that ran from April of 2005 to February of 2007. Based in London and created by Mind Candy, the first iteration of the game had players searching for a magical cube that would grant them access into a fictional metropolis known as Perplex City. Winners of the game would receive 100 a powerful artifact stolen from the fictional Perplex City and placed on Earth by an anonymous individual known as Combed Thunderclap. A cube retrieval team, known as a CRT, is formed and enlists the help of Earthlings to search for the cube. Along the way, the hunters encounter different organizations and cults. Warning: this entry contains flashing imagery. Viewer discretion is advised. The Sun Vanished is an ongoing alternate reality game based on Twitter. The narrative began in April of 2018, with the unnamed protagonist detailing the sudden disappearance of the sun and the monsters that have suddenly arisen in the darkness. The series gained widespread attention through its use of Twitter as a primary method of relaying this story. As the narrative progressed, major YouTubers, such as Nightmind and InsideAmind, would begin to spread the story to other platforms, such as YouTube and other social media circles. The story itself follows an unnamed protagonist shortly after the sun suddenly vanishes from the sky. In the ensuing hours, days, and weeks, the narrator describes horrifying screams, monsters out in the night, strange lights peering through windows, and dangers around every corner. The series utilizes a mixture of Twitter posts, pictures, and short videos to relay the unfolding nightmare. The Sun Vanished initially received overwhelming positive reviews by critics and fans alike, calling the concept and execution fresh and innovative. However, as time has gone on, interest in the series has waned, though despite this, the Twitter account continues to tell the story. In April of 2022, a proof-of-concept 22-minute short film was uploaded to YouTube entitled The Sun Vanished. Based upon the Twitter series of the same name, the short film, told from a third-person perspective, integrates core elements of the Twitter series, but also adds a romantic subplot to the narrative. While the visuals and cinematography have been praised, many fans of the original series pan the romantic subplot, the third-person perspective, and the perceived missed opportunities when adapting this story. Regardless of the proof-of-concept short film, The Sun Vanished continues to gain a consistent audience on Twitter, but the project is still ongoing. The Rune of Severance, a sigil that serves as the logo for Adam Rosner's TribeTwelve. TribeTwelve made a lasting impression on the Slenderman community through the use of outstanding visual effects, an emphasis on horror elements, and a mysterious plot. This led Rosner's series to be widely considered the second most popular and influential of the early Slenderman-based Unfiction web stories. TribeTwelve continues the vlog found footage format established in Marble Hornets, as well as being responsible for expanding the lore of the Slender Man. Many of the tropes and elements established in Rosner's work became ingrained across iterations and interpretations into the mythology of the Slender Man. Beginning on YouTube on June 4th, 2010, the narrative centers around Noah Maxwell and his YouTube channel, TribeTwelve, originally created for a school project. After the death of Noah's cousin Milo, the page turns into a memorial, with Noah uploading videos of their time together. As Noah starts to examine the footage, he realizes a mysterious figure lurks in the background whenever Milo is present. Deducing that this figure is the cause of Milo's death, Noah begins to investigate into the tall, slender man, and ultimately falls down a rabbit hole he cannot escape from. The series lived within a somewhat shared universe with another Slenderman series known as EverymanHYBRID. However, the two series go in different directions, deal with different characters, and have conflicting mythologies surrounding the Slenderman. As the series progressed, director Adam Rosner would take more and more time between uploads, sometimes upwards of several months, which would inevitably lead to a drop-off in viewership and popularity. This, along with a string of controversies surrounding Adam Rosner, led to the series being cancelled on August 23rd, 2019. The final video, entitled Facade, ended the series with a somewhat muddled conclusion to the storyline that left much to be desired.
Hello?
What's going on, Internet? I am Vinny Everyman, and this is EverymanHYBRID.
EverymanHYBRID. The aforementioned series existing within a somewhat shared universe with TribeTwelve. EverymanHYBRID, shortened to EMH, again centers around the Slenderman mythology. The series, like others of its kind, utilized a vlog found footage format. Rather than focus on a singular character, the series focuses on a group of individuals collectively being haunted by the Slenderman figure. As with the previous two Slenderman ARGs, EverymanHYBRID is considered one of the big three, alongside Marble Hornets and TribeTwelve, with Hybrid being widely considered to be the most interactive of the series. The cast and crew focused on developing strong relationships with their audience, with interactive games, Twitter, interaction in blogs, live streams, and even fan meetups to develop a close-knit community through which they could tell their story. EMH helped to establish the mythos surrounding the Slenderman alongside the other of the big three, but is also distinctly responsible for establishing the creepypasta entity, the Rake, as a viable antagonist and creature. EMH developed the mythology for the Rake and became one of the primary reasons for the entity's sudden surge in popularity. EMH is also notable for widening the scope of the universe through the incorporation of other creepypasta entities, such as the previously mentioned Rake, and references to other horror short stories, such as allusions to the events of Candle Cove and House of Leaves. Beginning on March 21st, 2010, on YouTube, EverymanHYBRID initially appeared to be a health video vlog created by three friends, Vincent, Evan, and Jeff. The trio originally conceived the video series as a prank to pull in unsuspecting viewers through hiding the Slenderman in the backgrounds of their videos. However, after the whole prank is revealed on the channel, the real Slenderman begins to haunt the group.
Whoever you are, if you come out and just tell us, okay, I'm sorry, it was me, my bad, then there will be no repercussions. Okay, fine, just don't do it again. Water under the bridge. However, if you continue to hide who you are, and if you do it again, and we catch you, then there's going to be some very, very negative repercussions.
As is common with Slenderman ARGs, the haunted individuals begin to uncover the mystery surrounding the elusive figure, an entity known as Habit, the Rake, and the viewers themselves. The series would post a grand total of 90 videos during their 8-year run, with the final video entitled Introductions, marking the end of their journey on January 1st, 2019, leaving the series with a definitive conclusion. Omega Mart, existing as a real-life location that opened on February 19th, 2021. Omega Mart is an interactive alternate reality game art installation located in Las Vegas, Nevada. The installation, created by the American arts company Meow Wolf, opened the location following several previous attempts to get Omega Mart off the ground. The final location features contributions from over 300 artists and designers. As the guests entered the installation, they are immediately brought into a supermarket. Inside, fake brands that can actually be bought are on display. Brands such as Mammoth Chunks, Organic Moth Milk, Plausible Deniability, and many more are available for purchase and use. The supermarket also contains a secret bar where guests can purchase alcohol. However, as visitors roam the store, they can uncover secret passageways into other parts of the building. The further the guests go, the more of a strange science fiction narrative they begin to piece together. Along with the physical location, Omega Mart has an official website you can check out at omegamart.com. The YouTube channel for Meow Wolf features a few videos on the Omega Mart experience. Omega Mart is open every day of the week, save for select holidays, from 10 a.m. to midnight. Tickets are on sale on the Meow Wolf website, typically at around $60 for general admission. This may seem like a steep price, but keep in mind that you will be entering into a handcrafted art installation with several areas to explore, interesting plot lines to uncover, and even food to buy. Tier 2 of the Iceberg details Unfiction series that anyone with an interest in Unfiction or ARGs may know. These include more niche series that are generally popular within the Unfiction community, and older projects that have left a mark on the community.
Thank you for coming to my YouTube page. So today I'm going to show you how to leak on a piece of paper.
AlanTutorial, created by Alan Resnick. AlanTutorial features a fictionalized version of Alan that has a strange obsession with giving weird tutorials. The tutorials start off rather mundane, albeit strange, such as how to pick up a huge amount of pencils, where Alan demonstrates how to pick up spilled pencils. However, as viewers began to note, Alan becomes more and more detached from reality, with the videos becoming more and more chaotic, gruesome, and nonsensical. In terms of storytelling, there is less of an overarching narrative and more of a catalog of one reclusive individual's slow descent into total madness. The first video, entitled How to Leak on a Piece of Paper, was uploaded to AlanTutorial on June 23, 2011. The series, taking place over the next 3 or so years, documents Alan's fracturing mental state. The videos, already nonsensical in nature, become even more incoherent as the series progresses.
There's glue.
Culminating in a chaotic last few videos with Alan's mind completely destroyed. The final video, titled with a misspelling of tutorial, ends the series on December 12th, 2014. While seeming to be multiple videos of absolute nonsense, alantutorial does offer a look into YouTubers attempting to gain fame and recognition, while simultaneously putting low effort into videos. The YouTube fandom page writes it best in my opinion. Resnick's constant solicitation for likes, favorites, and subscribers despite his clear lack of expertise expands the satire to social media in general. It becomes a criticism of internet users' constant desire for viral status, and their simultaneous unwillingness to put in any serious effort into this pursuit. It also applies to the trend of internet phenomena that became widely popular regardless of how much or how little talent or effort went into their creation. With or without the social commentary being apparent, alantutorial gained widespread attention due to the overall strange and peculiar content being posted to the channel, and due to Alan's reclusive and socially inept personality. YouTubers such as Nightmind, Super Horror Bro, Scare Theater, and others helped to push alantutorial more into the limelight. As one additional note, the monster character Alan, featured in Daisy Brown, is a direct reference to alantutorial creator Alan Resnick. Found on the Tape is an alternate reality game based around Garry's Mod, uploaded between July 20th and July 29th of 2011. The primary channel features only 3 videos, each cryptic and featuring distorted footage, with little to no narrative being presented through them. The videos did, however, contain ciphers that viewers later decoded. These decoded ciphers would provide links to custom Garry's Mod maps that would begin to piece together a story. The first map locked the player into a single room, with a skeleton in one corner and a single door to exit. Exiting the map would result in a jump scare featuring the distorted face from the first video. However, if users chose to send an email to the email address attached to the YouTube account, they would receive an automatic reply that contained another map file. This second map drops players into a blood-stained air ventilation system they must traverse through. Cave-ins, a charred corpse that would crash the game, and a single long drop would greet the players. Later on, the YouTube channel would send out yet another custom map. This time, however, the channel creator only sent the map to select few individuals. The third map takes place in an underground area, similarly monochrome in color and containing similar visual aesthetics to the ventilation system. Players stumble across a room that looks strikingly similar to the room in the first map, and the map can only end with once again dropping into a long shaft. The fourth and final map takes the players back to the ventilation system. However, this map is longer, more complex and maze-like than the second map. The players must escape from a monster chasing them before the game ultimately ends. Despite the series ending over a decade ago, the series is still shrouded in mystery. From the looks of it on the r/FoundOnTheTape subreddit, it appears that researchers are simply too late. Any links discovered have long since been taken down. Even the Mediafire links used to download the maps are no longer valid. Whatever websites existed, whatever the links brought people to, are no longer valid. The mystery of Found on the Tape is seemingly doomed to be simply that, a mystery. A piece of ARG lost media that we may never fully have an answer to. Meatsleep. Originally known as Meat, the channel Meatsleep uploaded a series of cryptic and disturbing videos back in 2014. The video content seemed to point towards a serial killer abducting and killing their victims before posting cryptic messages on YouTube and international social media for all to see. The series garnered widespread attention, even being covered by channels such as Mr. Nightmare and Scare Theater. Meatsleep was shrouded in so much mystery, conspiracies, and theories that the series itself was initially believed to be the actual work of a singular or group of killers by some internet users. In terms of an overarching narrative, none is necessarily present. The videos are filmed in different countries and locations, but do involve similar themes of kidnapping, cannibalism, and murder. Several theories popped up over time, each attempting to decide what exactly meatsleep was. Multiple users theory, serial killer theory, ARG, prank gone wrong, and more flooded the comment sections and forums in an attempt to figure out who or what meatsleep was, and if they truly were harming people. Each video was stylistically similar yet distinct, with each member of the meatsleep team editing the videos at random chance. You see, meatsleep was never one person, but a group of 11 individuals. At least that's what the editors claim. 11 individuals from 8 different countries. Jay, Melissa, Steven, Josh, Peter, Marcus, Georgie, Naoki, Tom, Lena, and Brian. The videos were likely created as an art project or as an alternate reality game of sorts. However, due to the lack of clarification, some internet users began to believe the channel was the work of an actual individual or group of serial killers, and that people were in actual danger. A woman by the name of Jordan Nickum became unwittingly attached to the channel and became the victim of harassment due to people believing her to be the killer behind the channel. This led to some members of the group Anonymous to get involved, and stalkers began to plague the channel and those behind it. In response, the channel enacted one final purge and deleted/privated all of their content in order to put some of the wilder rumors to rest. They revealed themselves, the fact that videos were staged and not real, and ended the saga that had been meatsleep. Since then, the channel has remained dormant. Fans hoped the series would continue despite all of the negative attention and harassment generated by the channel. However, in early 2022, the main creator of the meatsleep videos passed. With her death, it appears unlikely meatsleep will ever again become active, and we only wish the best for her family and for those involved with the project.
Hey guys, Ash here, and literally talking to no one, so if you somehow accidentally stumbled onto this video or misclicked and wound up here, how about giving a sub? Be a hero, change that 0. You know, maybe
AshVlogs, along with the companion channel, I Know Where She Is a mystery YouTube channel presented from the perspective of an immature vlogger. Created by Australian actress Lauren Kupowitz in 2018, the channel first came to the public's attention after the protagonist Ash began noticing strange cars and people outside of her apartment, leading viewers to suspect that this individual, whom many assumed was a real person, was the unsuspecting victim of a stalker, or worse. As mentioned, the series revolved around burgeoning vlogger Ash as she attempts to create a YouTube channel documenting her experiences in life. With limited experience, she sets out to make a name for herself in the busy landscape of YouTube vlogging channels. However, her videos begin to take a turn after she notices a car that has been parked outside of her apartment for quite some time, with the individual suddenly taking off. As the videos progress, Ash becomes more and more concerned as oddities occur in her previously normal life. It all culminates in Ash's supposed disappearance. The companion channel, I Know Where She Is, provides a conclusion to the mystery of Ash's fate. This companion channel showcases the stalker's perspective, with re-uploads of Ash's vlogs alongside unlisted videos containing disturbing and distorted content. The videos indicate that the stalker successfully kidnapped Ash, and possibly killed her. During the initial run of the vlog, many internet users believed Ash might have truly been kidnapped, with the entire ordeal not being a work of fiction, but of reality. However, once the series concluded, creator Lauren Kupowitz took to livestream and Twitter to put any worries at ease. The channel gained coverage from popular ARG and Unfiction YouTubers such as Rainbot, Gloomy House, and Nexpo, bolstering its popularity and attention from the ARG/Unfiction community. The mystery was also heightened through collaboration with the channel Raka Raka to deepen the mystery and to help reinforce the illusion of reality within the series. The channel also employed complex layers of clues, utilizing package drops, Snapchat games, and links in YouTube videos, all designed to pull viewers down a deep rabbit hole to uncover the mystery. As of September of 2020, the series has come to a conclusion, with a final unlisted video entitled uploaded on the primary AshVlogs channel. The Wyoming Incident is an interesting tale to say the least. A video uploaded under many names starting in 2006 appears to capture a supposed broadcast hijacking that happened in Wyoming in the 1980s. This time period is murky at best, with some interpretations of the tale having it be the mid-2000s, while other sources stating the late 1980s. In terms of the content, it is a strange interruption to the regularly scheduled programming to showcase a strange video with nausea-inducing sound waves, floating heads, and text indicating the creator of the video wants to fix us. The original channel appears to be Give Me a Number, with the video Weird Video I Found being the only upload since 2007. The story behind the broadcast intrusion is this. Residents who supposedly viewed the intrusion back in the 80s complained of nausea and vomiting, headaches, hallucinations, and so on. Lore posted all the way back in 2006 seems to indicate that the extended viewing of the clips, or some clips in general, would drive a person insane. The original owner of the Wyoming Incident tape, a man named Gregory Miller, appears to have been driven insane as cataloged by a 2006 to 2007 blog. Later, users began to uncover a separate 2004 forum known as the Happy Cube, wherein users posted their experiences with cubing. The rest of the ARG appears to revolve around this forum and the idea of cubing, though this supposedly ongoing ARG is still shrouded in layers of mystery. Due to the Wyoming Incident being one massive rabbit hole, I recommend watching the 9-minute video series on the topic, as the ARG is simply too long in detail to be properly discussed in an Unfiction Iceberg. A Something Awful forum post revealed the story of the Wyoming Incident to be an elaborate alternate reality game and prank created by forum user Senor Bombos and the Detector that later developed a life of its own. In contemporary discussions, the Wyoming Incident is often considered one of the first alternate reality games to hit the internet, and among the first creepypastas as well. The depth and width of the series helped to solidify the series' space in internet history, with the investigation still ongoing today. Dad. Nathan Barnett, better known as his character Dad, began the eponymous YouTube channel on January 5th, 2019, after a skit he created on his main channel, Nathan Barnett, featuring the character of the same name. Seeing the potential in the character and the positive reception, Barnett created the Dad channel and began creating a video series surrounding the strange and perplexing character. The character of Dad was notable for meeting up with fans and content creators, such as Nexpo, and even having a full unboxing match with MatPat of the Game Theorists. The story of Dad is told in 4 sections known as acts. Act 1 establishes Dad's routines in life in this strange void-like space. Dad has a wife, a family, and a job at a corporation, and a dream of becoming the #1 YouTuber. However, as subsequent acts reveal, there is a larger world out there beyond the void that Dad lives within. His dreams, his reality, and the world he lives in begin to twist and turn. Dad becomes more sentient, more rebellious to the life he is living, until eventually, he begins to break free. The story apparently ends on September 21st, 2021, with the final video of Act 4 entitled Outside. The series has been praised for its interesting and innovative plot, its special effects and production value, the likable and well-rounded characters, and the interactive nature of the series. Dad is truly one of those series that cannot be best described through a video, much less through an Iceberg entry, so I highly advise you go watch the series yourself and enjoy the madness that unfolds. Dad's Tapes, often called My Dad's Tapes, is an internet alternate reality game that began on January 12th, 2012, on YouTube. The series itself follows a similar format to many Unfiction and ARG series at the time, utilizing the vlog found footage format, and the plot device of tapes being found. In this iteration, however, the Slender Man is nowhere to be seen, and instead, the tapes appear to be snuff films left by the protagonist's late father. The plot centers around the character Chris who, after receiving multiple items from his late father after his sudden death, begins to sift through his father's VHS tapes out of curiosity. As he progresses, Chris begins to realize that a masked man in the videos is torturing and killing women he's abducted. The series turns into a murder mystery, with Chris attempting to discover the identity of the masked man, why his father had these murder tapes, and why the strange channel known as Do Not Continue is harassing him online. The companion channel, Do Not Continue, provided viewers with puzzles and mysteries to solve in order to heighten the ARG experience. Unfortunately, the channel itself has since been deleted, with the Wayback Machine containing only a select few screenshots from 2017. The companion channel featured the same gruesome content as the primary, with more upfront scenes of murder and torture than Dad's tapes. Despite the central conflict having been left unresolved, the series faced a sudden cancellation in April of 2014. The final video, My Dad's Tapes number 88, Chained, being the final video uploaded. Since then, the series has not been touched. The reasons behind the sudden cancellation has been left unclear, though fans in the comments have been hoping for a return. Adult Swim is known for its strange and surreal bumpers and cards, trippy effects, nonsensical situations, and gruesome imagery, all serving to unnerve and intrigue late-night viewers. However, in 2014, Adult Swim aired something remarkably different from anything it had aired before. A random bumper, simply titled, Unedited Footage of a Bear, segued into a truly bizarre and nightmarish ad for an allergy medication known as Claradril. For those watching Adult Swim at the time, the ad truly came from out of nowhere and perplexed many viewers. The infomercial begins as any other, a mother playing at a park with her kids while suffering from allergies. To alleviate the symptoms, she takes Claradril.
With Claradril.
However, as the video progresses, the background narration fades, and the protagonist drives past the scene of a grisly murder. She stops the car, realizing her own cardigan is in the street. And in the distance, her own apparent doppelganger is sprinting towards her. Alan Resnick, a name we've heard before on this Iceberg, was responsible for directing and writing this strange infomercial. Numerous theories have been spreaded from the video, with some claiming the medication induces an addictive psychotic break, and that the protagonist killed her children in this state, and is recapping her life in lucid flashbacks. Others claim the drug literally produces a clone, a scene with the original murder scene with both the body and the murderer wearing the same shoes. However you choose to take it is entirely up to you. Gemini, the subject of my hyperfixation for 2 months as I attempted to piece together a coherent story from the bizarre and disturbing analog horror videos. Created by Remy Abode, Gemini Home Entertainment began posting videos to YouTube on November 17, 2019, with their first entry, entitled World's Weirdest Animals, garnering over 1 million views by the time of this video. The series is known for its convincing analog format, its musical choices, and its plot which centers around a sentient world-killing planet. The anthology series revolves around a collection of videos created by the company Gemini Home Entertainment. Each tape contains cryptic, supernatural, and cosmic events and entities. Woodcrawlers, gardeners, deep-root disease, the iris, and so much more is conveyed through these disturbing tapes. In-universe corporations flesh out the ever-expanding lore, and characters such as Jack Dean become the closest the series has to a primary protagonist. To boil down the series to its simplest parts, the story revolves around a cosmic entity known as the Iris, which seeks to transform the Earth using parasite-like entities before incorporating it into itself. What follows are the events leading up to the eventual apocalypse. The series also includes community posts between and leading up to new uploads. An entirely playable game entitled Lethal Omen, which covers certain elements that happen in the universe, and an active Discord run by Remy himself. While updates are usually spaced out by quite a few months, Remy has started another series known as Morley Grove for those looking for more of his content in the in-between. In terms of lasting influence, Gemini is often considered one of the most iconic analog horror web series online, typically referred to as the definitive analog horror series alongside Local 58. Critics praise the series' direction, art style, and in-depth mystery that leaves viewers asking questions that spark more questions than answers. Be warned, the series and the exact chronological events can be difficult to decipher. I suggest watching my video on the series to become better acquainted with the story, the mystery, and the series of events before diving into the 2 latest videos, Wretched Hands and Shifting Tendons.
Here at Pizza Time Pizza, we don't use any preservatives or fake ingredients. We only use fresh, farm-grown, organic ingredients. Hi, I'm a real person, and I eat Pizza Time.
Pizza Time Pizza is an interesting experience. The YouTube series, created by Alex Bale, blends together comedy, surreal imagery, and a cult of all things. According to the official Pizza Time Pizza website, pizzatimepizza.wixsite.com/pizzatimepizza, Pizza Time Pizza is described as follows. It's a lot of Pizza Time Pizza. Welcome to Pizza Time Pizza, where we're a family. Over the years, our passion for making better pizza informed every decision and every pizza we made, because the last thing we wanted was to be a pizza company. So instead of chopping vegetables with machines, we chop them by hand every day. Instead of investing in gimmicks, we invest in fresh ingredients, and we pile them high on our fresh, never frozen, original dough. However, the website features some peculiar sound bites, distorted music, a teachings tab, and the food descriptions are ominous, to say the least. The Pizza Time Pizza series began on October 31st, 2017, with the first video entitled, you guessed it,
Pizza Time Pizza. .wixsite.com/Pizza Time Pizza.
Stylized as a basic pizza place ad, albeit with some stock photos instead of real people, the ad quickly devolves into the teachings of an apparent cult. Over the next 15 videos, the Pizza Time Pizza saga moves away from the simple pizzas and into a nightmarish cult. Destroying clocks, eating nothing but Pizza Time Pizza, pledging allegiance to the Pizza Man, convincing your friends that Pizza Time is in fact not a cult, and preparing for the eventual ascension. The series ended on October 31st, 2019, with the final episode, Pizza Time Pizza 10, straying far in execution from the first iteration. If you're interested in a comedic cult surrounding a local pizza joint, I suggest giving this series a look. I promise, Pizza Time Pizza is not a cult. 11BX1371 was a well-known series of art projects created by Parker Wright in late 2015. The first video, simply entitled 11BX1371, generated a heap of buzz when it was first discovered online and in real life. Some individuals found physical copies sitting on park benches, others found a 4chan post, and still others found YouTube videos. The video itself features an individual in a Plague Doctor outfit, while ciphers are displayed on screen throughout the 2-minute runtime. Even the audio appeared to be another puzzle to solve. Some YouTubers, such as Some Ordinary Gamers, found the video while browsing the deep web, heightening the mystery surrounding the cryptic and creepy video. Some internet users began to generate theories as to the true nature of the 11B. Some suggest the video was the work of a serial killer due to the cipher reading, "You are already dead," and "I would love to kill you," while others suggested the usage of the Plague Doctor indicated that this was a bioterror threat. And still others believed the videos to be a threat made against the then-sitting president, Barack Obama. Despite all the controversies, theories, and interpretations of the video, no singular purpose had been identified. Then, in November of 2015, several months after the video made an appearance online, Parker Warner Wright claimed ownership of the video. An American living in Poland, Wright intended the video to be an art project, and that the numerous theories surrounding the video did not bring anyone closer to understanding the video's true message. To this day, internet users are speculating and hypothesizing the true reason for Wright's 11B video. Since then, 2 other stylistically similar videos have been uploaded to Wright's channel, 11B 45 1T8 in 2015, and 31 14 5.2 in 2022. While the true nature of the video has been revealed, it seems as though we are no closer to fully understanding Wright's message, and it may be years before we ever do. Hi, iamsophie is an alternate reality game that began in mid-2016. Throughout its run, the series would see widespread coverage, particularly from YouTubers such as Nexpo, Nightmind, Insidamind, and the Film Theorists, among others. This series centers around a woman suffering from amnesia who only knows two things. Her name is Mary, and the house she is trapped within belongs to her parents. There is no exit from the home. The food in the pantry is stocked itself through unknown means, and she has limited access to the internet. The series, which began on July 9, 2016, follows Mary as she catalogs her experiences while trapped within her parents' home. During the day, she attempts to escape from the house, but at night, strange events occur. Shadow figures, a woman wearing a mask, and Mary's fracturing mental state become staples throughout the series. The following 18 videos document Mary's attempts at leaving the home, culminating in a final video released on May 31st, 2020, entitled Goodbye. The series features a few complex themes, primarily focusing on mental health, isolation, and depression, which has allowed many fans to connect to Mary's journey and her struggles within the house. The series also includes a few companion accounts. A Twitter account under Hi There I Am Mary, which is helpful in understanding the lore moving forward, and a Blogspot account. If you're a fan of the more psychological horror, then Hi, I'm Mary may just be the ARG for you. GodlyRcon was first discussed by the user Nation Squid on YouTube, a content creator known for their coverage of internet history, the darker side of the internet, and tech-related content. The series supposedly followed a young woman as she describes being stalked before filming her abduction and somehow having posted it to YouTube. However, outside of the Nation Squid video, no other solid evidence exists of the GodlyRcon YouTube channel, the events, or even the woman who was supposedly abducted. No news, no Google Trends, nothing. Once internet users began to piece together that no evidence existed prior to the top 10 list made by Nation Squid, most began to realize it was likely simply a hoax. This is often legitimized by pointing out that Nation Squid was created and hosting an ARG around the same time that GodlyRcon appeared on the internet. Scare Theater conducted an investigation into the matter, concluding that the GodlyRcon channel and content is most assuredly a hoax. Still, channels claim to have re-uploads of the GodlyRcon content, but view it at your own discretion. Enricks.angelfire.com is a now-defunct website featuring creepy imagery, strange distortions, and seemingly nonsensical text. In terms of substance, there is not a whole lot here. The website distorts when clicking repeatedly on an image. A distorted video of a woman is on the Enricks page. A PDF file could supposedly have been downloaded if clicking a blue key enough times, and AV connections to the Lost television series ARG were present on the website. However, Enricks does not go much deeper than this. All we can truly pull from the website is a fake syndrome named Gomic syndrome, and Enricks being complex diseases. It's possible the website was once part of a previously unknown ARG, but no solid connection has been made. As of 2023, the Angelfire website hosting the content has been removed, though the Wayback Machine does provide archived copies. If you're wanting more information on the website, which there isn't much to say, I recommend watching Scare Theater's video on the topic. It's around 5 minutes and sums up the mystery nicely. ElectricFanatic is a YouTube channel hosted by the content creator under the alias of Eltic. Eltic began posting disturbing emergency alert scenarios in April of 2019. Since then, the channel has covered a wide range of topics, scenarios, and genres within their EASs. Rather than being a straightforward Unfiction series or alternate reality game, ElectricFanatic is instead an anthology channel that posts a wide variety of emergency alert scenarios. These range from more analog horror content, cosmic horror, nuclear attacks, zombie viruses, and even SCP scenarios, among others. If you're at all interested in emergency alert scenarios, I recommend checking the channel out. Worldcorp Enterprises began uploading Vaporwave-style videos to their YouTube channel in 2015. The corporation had accounts on a wide variety of social media: Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, all with very few followers to begin with. While the videos and music initially appeared to be rather mundane, a few entries stood out among the rest. The videos contained disturbing imagery and lyrics, and seemed to imply that something far more sinister than a simple music label was in play. Threads began to pop up on 4chan, Reddit, and other social media circles in order to better catalog this emerging mystery, and to figure out what exactly Worldcorp is, and what it wanted. Internet sleuths quickly found out that Worldcorp had a website, one that featured macabre imagery, vaporwave aesthetics, and a link to a now-closed Discord server. However, videos found on the website revealed something far darker than just a simple ARG or Unfiction series. Videos of children being yelled at, abused, and worse were posted on the website. This, of course, stirred incredible controversy, conspiracy, and negative attention regarding the Worldcorp, quote, brand. People began to seriously question whether or not this corporation was truly evil, and soon enough, Worldcorp was labeled a cult. Not too long after the origins of the videos featuring children were discovered, which, to put it bluntly, were not pleasant, Worldcorp went scorched earth. All videos, social media accounts, songs, and the website were taken down. This led investigators to speculate one of two possibilities. Worldcorp was truly a messed up cult that dealt with horrible videos, or Worldcorp was an ARG that went horribly wrong. Some speculate that when Worldcorp failed to garner the attention the creator or creators wanted, they began posting, quote, creepy videos in order to attract attention, neglecting to check the origins of the videos they were using. Once the origins of the videos had been made public, they realized their mistake and quickly deleted all content related to the ARG in an effort to minimize the damage. And still others say that Worldcorp was just a group of musicians that posted edgy content in order to bring attention to their music. Whichever outcome you choose is entirely up to you. All we have left on the internet are re-uploads of songs and videos that had been saved, and YouTube documentaries that recap the entire saga. Several prominent YouTubers have discussed the topic, such as Nexpo and some ordinary gamers, so I recommend watching their videos for a more in-depth look at the mystery. I Am Sophie was a high-production, high-concept alternate reality game created by Heart Squid Films and posted to YouTube in 2020, with 2 final short videos posted to Twitter in 2021. The series, initially fooling many into believing that it was truly a vlogging channel made by the daughter of a millionaire, quickly took a turn into the surreal. I Am Sophie is notable for providing social commentary and social media personalities, influencers, and content creators, using the gimmick of the algorithm as a physical supernatural antagonist throughout the series. I Am Sophie initially follows the titular character Sophie, the child of a millionaire businessman, and the owner of the clothing brand, a young, rich, and powerful. However, around halfway through the series, the perspective switched to that of Laura, who, for reasons unknown to Sophie and Laura herself, kept appearing in Sophie's videos through randomly spliced frames. The narrative takes a more surreal and meta turn around this point, going solidly into a more horror route. I Am Sophie officially ended in 2021 due to budgetary constraints surrounding the project. As of 2022, Heart Squid, the company behind the series, has moved on to other projects, with the actress playing Sophie voicing her support on the official I Am Sophie Twitter account. I Am Sophie is an excellent series for anyone wanting a more social commentary-heavy, unfiction series.
Later, Sophheads.
Widely considered one of the first alternate reality games, and an example of a well-executed viral marketing campaign. This online ARG surrounded the 1999 found footage horror classic, The Blair Witch Project. Leading up to the film's release, the marketing team began posting information regarding the Blair Witch online, as well as information regarding 3 missing teens seen within the film. The production team went so far as to create a mockumentary surrounding the three main characters and their disappearance within the Black Hills of Maryland. This mockumentary aired on the Sci-Fi Channel leading up to the film's release to generate buzz surrounding the mystery and to establish an air of authenticity and realism to the film. This proved to be effective as many viewers believed the film to be the actual footage of what happened out in the woods. Outside of the mockumentary that appeared on the Sci-Fi Channel, the film also had a website surrounding the newly created Blair Witch mythology. The mythology page lists out a rough chronology of the events regarding the Blair Witch, including how the Blair Witch came to be, and the brutal killings that took place periodically since her banishment from the village, and her supposed death. Leading up to the 2016 remake/sequel to the first Blair Witch project, the Blair Witch attempted to recreate the magic of the first film by having social media accounts post about missing hikers in Maryland, among other clues of the true nature of the film. At that point in time, the Blair Witch film was simply known as. Though many fans began to parse out the actual title and content of the film. To this day, the original Blair Witch project remains one of the pinnacle examples of a viral marketing campaign done correctly. Other television shows and films attempted to capture the same magic of the Blair Witch, such as J.J. Abrams' Lost, Cloverfield, and Super 8, though none quite compared to the success of the Blair Witch project. Hello everyone. Thank you all for watching this first entry into the Unfiction Iceberg. I'll be breaking it up into 4 parts for a few reasons, one being my limited schedule at the moment due to teaching, and the other being digestibility, as the total runtime will be over 4 hours in length. I cannot promise an exact date for part 2, but I promise it will come as soon as I can manage. Entering into my second year of teaching has seen an increase in responsibility at my work, and a subsequent decrease in my overall free time. Even when I do have free time, I oftentimes will just spend it decompressing from the week. It's too often that I get off work, eat an early dinner, and then sleep for 12 hours. Regardless, I appreciate wholeheartedly your patience as I navigate my busy life in order to bring you all content. This is SinisterHeart, and I'll see you in the next video.